Hey everybody, welcome to Church House. It's going to be a good night of teaching. Tonight we're going to talk about discerning levels of friendship. So feel free to take notes, and I promise you you'll wish you had if you don't. This is going to help us. I'm going to try to do it in a short amount of time. So this is going to help us with people relationships, all right? So my wife's been asking me to teach this to the adults. We've gone over it with the young adults. Not that you guys aren't young, but you are. But she just wanted me to go over it again with those that hadn't had a chance to hear it, because it really does help us with, oh my gosh, life, you know, and putting people in perspective in our world and understanding why we have relationships at certain levels and why we need to keep certain people at certain levels in our life, and that we don't allow them to just get to a certain level that they don't belong just because they just met, or that they don't always stay at first level, which we're going to explain what all that really is and what that means. Please turn your phones off. And that way we, as we understand these levels, this is very practical teaching tonight. So as we understand these levels, it will help us to understand our relationships. I'll give you an example. Young lady can be invited to on a date. Guy does a date, takes her to McDonald's, and few things can happen in that particular scenario. You know, she can automatically think, this is the guy I'm going to marry because he bought her a hamburger. Or it could be that we just spill out everything about ourselves when we meet people. So you meet someone and you just, everything about you, they get to know in that first meeting. And so you kind of went far. You kind of threw up all about yourself. That's the way I look at it. And so then we get everything that you are. And so we're going to talk about these levels. So I'm going to get right into it so that we get a quick understanding. The first level of friendship is acquaintance, all right? This will be good for you guys as you go and move away and but don't take notes or nothing. I'm just saying. So the first one is acquaintance, all right? And so I'm going to give you 2 characteristics to each of these, and then I'm going to give you 2 responsibilities for each of these. So however you're taking notes, just know I'm going to give you 4 things for each one of these. So the first one is an acquaintance. The distinguishing characteristics of an acquaintance. The first one is it's based on occasional contact. It's based on occasional contact. All right? The second one is that you have freedom to ask general questions. This has to do with public information. Okay? Public information. Someone tell the children to keep it down. The accompanying responsibilities, before I talk about it a little bit, the first one is to view each acquaintance as a divine appointment. We view each acquaintance as a divine appointment. The second thing, as an accompanying responsibility, is we design appropriate general questions for new acquaintances ahead of time. Okay? So in this room we have extroverts and we have introverts. And so this particular teaching is for both extroverts and introverts, whichever one that you might be. You might be the kind of person that comes to a group like this and you say, all right, we're staying, and then at 8 o'clock, we gotta go. You're definitely an introvert. The extrovert has said, you know, I'm getting ready to experience everybody in the room. They're going to have to kick me out because I'm shutting the place down. So that's the extrovert. And everyone falls into one of those particular categories. But this particular teaching is for both the introvert and extrovert, because we can find ourselves either not talking to people or over talking to people. All right? So I don't want you to say, this isn't about me. So the first friendship level is the acquaintance level. And the key to that is to view people as a divine appointment, that you are aware of your people that are around you, surrounded around you, people that are always around you that you may not really know, but you come into an occasional contact with them in the lunchroom, or maybe just passing in a hallway, or you see them, you may go take your clothes to a cleaner's, or maybe you see them in a grocery store. It's occasional. It's not all the time. It's not very frequent. It's every now and then you run across these particular people, right? Makes sense? You work at a school, it could be people that just dropping their kids off, It's just acquaintances, all right? So the thing is that we have to come up with some general questions in order to get conversation going. Now for the extrovert, this isn't a hard thing to do because they are generally always talking, always able to figure out something to say. It's not difficult at all. For introverts, I'm asking and saying, yes, that you want to have some general questions. These general questions ahead of time will help you to strike up conversation, because we have a hard time as an introvert figuring out what should we talk about, what can we say, what would be of interest, or and so it's like we get locked down. So public information starts with different things, and we're going to go over that so you know what that is. Here's the second level, okay? The second level of friendship is a casual friendship. This is the casual friendship. The casual friendship is two things: based on common interests, activities, and concerns. They're based on common interests, activities, and concerns. In this particular relationship, at this level, you have the freedom to ask questions. Opinions, ideas, wishes, and goals are things that you would talk about. Opinions, ideas, wishes, and goals are what we approach at this particular level. This is where we're talking about common interests and activities. So the two responsibilities that accompany this particular level are: you learn to identify and praise positive qualities. You learn to identify and praise positive qualities. Notice that we're talking about positive qualities that we are identifying, and not the negative identifying problems in a person. Okay? We're not looking to talk about how to get them fixed. We're looking to, let's find out what's positive about this brand new person that I met, that I'm bringing to another level, and you're still not in that level of correcting. You're at the level of, let me find out the good things and praise them for the good things, even though the bad things may be standing out like the sun in darkness. So the second accompanying responsibility is design appropriate specific questions, like about the children, or about the youth and adults. For children, for youth, and adults, design appropriate specific questions. And I'm going to give you an idea of what these specific questions can be. Whether you have a casual friendship with a child, an adult or a young person, okay? All right, when I talk about one level, this is the level that you should be talking about these things on, which means the level before that is the level you don't talk about the things in level 2 on. Okay, level 3 is close friendship or fellowship. Close. So we have acquaintance, we have casual, and now we have close. Close friendships, the distinguishing characteristics, number 1, it's based on mutual life goals. You begin to talk about what are your goals in life and what are my goals in life, and let's see if they're the same, if they're close. Are they aligning? Are they mutual? Are they completely different? Are we relatable? And let's talk about those, because the second thing is that we have freedom to suggest mutual projects toward reaching those goals. We have the freedom at this level to suggest, hey, why don't you try this? That'll help you to get to where you're trying to go. Why don't you try that? You have the freedom to insert your opinion about how they can better reach the goals that they have in their life. You're not supposed to do that at the acquaintance level. And you're not supposed to do that at the second level. You start doing that once you get to know a person. Right? The same one, the accompanying responsibility, the first one is you begin to visualize achievement in each other's life. Visualize achievement in each other's life. This is what you do at the close friendship level. You begin to see, hey, I see how you can be that teacher you want to be. I see how you can be the doctor that you want to be. I see how you want to move and do what you want to do. I see how that can work. I see how you want to help people. I see that. Let's see how that can work. Because the second part is that we discern and develop appropriate projects to gain this achievement that we have visualized. We start looking at, hey, how can we help you get that? How can we discern and develop appropriate projects to help you gain what it is that you're trying to achieve? And these are the kind of friends, I'm talking about the real friends. Some people you keep at acquaintance level all your life, and you never discuss your goals, and they never help you to achieve your goals. And then you give them other information about yourself that is on the close part of a relationship, but you haven't activated other things in the beginning. So you're kind of like, we stepping in and we step out of being close, and now we're acquaintance, and then you wonder why they feel like they can say what they want to say in your life, and it's you never gave them the key to that. At least you thought you didn't. But yet, in another conversation, you gave them a key to something really sensitive and important in your life at an earlier level. The fourth one is the intimate friendship. And we're talking about emotionally intimate. We're not talking about being physically sexual intimacy. We're talking about being emotionally intimate. So this is intimate friendship. Could be two guys can be intimate. Two women can be intimate. This isn't sexual, okay? So this is based on a commitment to the development of each other's character. It is based on the commitment to the development of each other's character. I now am committed to seeing you develop and be that person that you want to be, to help you achieve the goals that we have envisioned for you, that you've talked about, that you want to see happen in your life. Now we're looking at character development. Don't talk about my character at acquaintance level. That's why we only look at positive qualities at the second level, because we're casual. You know, we're not trying to find out how. I'm not trying to fix you. Just trying to celebrate you. You're awesome. You do this. That's awesome. Isn't that wonderful? But that doesn't mean we're going to get it. Just, that's the level we on. The second thing is that you have the freedom to correct each other at this level. You have the freedom to correct each other at this level of the intimate level. This is the last level. I don't have another level. So at the intimate level, we have the freedom to correct each other. If we are not at the intimate level, don't be correcting me. I'm not trying to correct you. Right? People can't come into your life and immediately skip level 2 and level 3, and now they're like, you know what, if you would do this differently, then you could probably achieve those goals that you have in your heart. That is not that's not how a relationship works. So you've rushed. We're just supposed to look for the good qualities. Ignore the bad ones right now, because we haven't stepped into enough of the water with the person to start, deciding on what we can actually stir up. All right, so the 2 accompanying responsibilities are this. You have open honesty with discretion. Open honesty with discretion. I gotta tell you the truth about yourself. Do it with discretion. We don't mind you being honest, but do it with discretion. Okay? Because this is the time where you're able to correct the person, and they're able to correct you. It doesn't mean you just go in and say, now all the stuff I couldn't tell you now, I'm just getting ready to let you know this is the kind of person. You ain't got this because you ain't doing that, and if you would change this, then that's not discretion. Okay? Discretion is similar to saying, you know what, I'm going to walk sensitively in this with you, and not just berate you and tell you, you need to fix this and you need to fix that, and just be like, chop the tree down. Put an axe to it and go. That's not the goal. Use discretion. The second one is discern basic causes of character deficiencies and suggest solutions. It is to discern basic causes of character deficiencies and suggest solutions. Discern basic causes of character deficiencies and suggest solutions. So those are the 4 levels. The first thing we want to realize is that people come into our life and they're either going to be a blessing or a curse to us. They're either going to be a blessing or a curse to us. Many times we won't find out if we're cliquish. And silence hit the room. If you're only going to relate to the people that are in your circle now, that's all you're basically, what you have is what you're going to have. You have to expand yourself. And so, especially for the introvert, to say, my borders, I need to expand my borders and begin to meet new people. And it seems like, I don't want to do that. You need to do that, because everything passes through relationship. The job that you have, somebody might have told you, hey, there's a job over there, you should look into it. The car you have, somebody might have suggested to you, you should go to this car lot and not that one. Your restaurants that you go to and love, somebody might have suggested to you, you should go to this restaurant. Don't ever go back to that one, because that one won't treat you right. People get in relationships, they hear about doctors that they should maybe go to, dentists that would treat them right and won't treat them wrong. You talk about if you're not married, some people will suggest who maybe would be good for you, and others will suggest who would not be good for you. Shoes. Women always hear about a sale from another relationship. Girl, there's a sale going on over here. Go check out that sale. Stay away from that corner of the block. Everything passes through relationship, and so divine appointments, if we begin to view relationships as divine appointments, as God is working in this somehow, and not we're just passing through, and whoever is whatever is, there's no intentionality, there's no purpose to living. It's just I meet friends by accident and make friends by accident. No. We begin to view, this is something that God has set up. Everybody that I come in contact with is a divine appointment, and not just somebody that I could just allow to just slip through the cracks, because God may have something for me to give to them, or for them for me. Divine appointment. We ask God for, I don't know, everything, so many things, and then we shut his provision off because it doesn't come the way that we think it's supposed to come. Because when it starts coming, it's going to come through a person.
That's right.
And if you start judging, or you're too quick, or you decide, I'm not relating to this one or to that one, or you have to have somebody else let you know how somebody is before you jump in the water with them and decide if you want to get wet too. We view them as divine appointments. As divine appointments. God is involved. Whomever we meet, we can be confident that God created them and that God loves them. Whomever we meet. A divine appointment involves two individuals whom God created, whom he loves, meeting each other with potential to benefit each other. It's a divine appointment. In order to have the right attitudes toward each one that we meet, it's important to have the following questions in the back of our mind. In the back of our mind, like, what are God's purposes in his or her life? What are God's purposes in his or her life? What responsibilities and opportunities has God given to him or to her? I'm talking about maturity here in our relationships. We get very spiritual, we get saved, we get in church, and sometimes we lose our brains, we lose our minds, and we let everybody in our life because they say they're a Christian. And then we get upset when they act crazy and wrong in our life and do crazy stuff, and we're like, they said they were a Christian. They said they were a Christian. And then we think all Christians are bad. All Christians ain't bad. All Christians aren't bad. It's just that we just need to discern the level that they belong on, whoever he or she is, and place them at that level and act like they deserve to be at each level that I put them at, and not they just qualify just because they're breathing. Just because you're breathing doesn't mean we're going to be the best friends. Just because you say hello doesn't mean we're going to be best friends. Just because you buy me a burger doesn't mean we're going to be best friends. Just because you come to my house and eat food that people bring on Tuesday night doesn't mean we're going to be best friends. Doesn't mean that I'm going to tell you your business, and doesn't mean you're going to tell me about my business. Because we're not at that level. Some of you in this room are just getting to the casual level with me. Casey, I just met, so she's kind of an acquaintance. So I'm gonna just say, so I ain't getting ready to tell Casey about herself, and she ain't getting ready to tell me I need to clean up and I need to try this and do that, and why don't I work on this? Why don't I work on that? And if you did this, maybe you would be better at. That's like, hey, you know, we just met, but we treat people like that. We treat people like that. Some people, we say to ourselves, they're so easy to talk to, and then boom, we let them have it all. They leave our presence and they like weight it down, you know, like I'm never, like you don't know it, but they don't want to meet you again. You know, so this helps to put things in perspective. Here's the second question: how far? You want to maybe be thinking about in your mind, how far have they come? How far has he come? How far has she come? How far from what? That means that we're having a little bit of discussion about who you are. What? Who are you? You could be a killer. You could be doing all kind of stuff. I need to know who you are. How far have you come? What is God? And I know it's a God factor that we're asking. We put in, that means they got to know that you love God. You love God. Somewhere they need to know. Are the lights hot?
It's a little toasty. But if it's okay for you.
You can turn down baby, if you want. Sure. Just that's full. That's on full. That's on full. Just so you know. You might want to click it again. All right. Thank you. So here's the thing, guys. That's good. I'm on video. Thank you. So here's the thing. How you feel about yourself is very important when we talk about relationship, because you don't want to bring how you feel about yourself when you don't feel great about yourself into an acquaintance relationship. So here's the thing. It's a wrong attitude, and we may be in fear. Fear will say, will they accept me? Like, I know there's a divine appointment in everybody that I'm around, but will they accept me? Will they accept me? This is a wrong attitude. That's fear. Selfishness would say, how will I gain from this divine appointment? See, we don't meet people because it's just about what we can get, but it's also about what we can give in a relationship. And this is at all levels, whether you are a pastor dealing with people who are congregants, or whether you are a CEO and you're dealing with employees in the mailroom. You see everyone as a divine appointment and not try to figure out what they can do for you because of their reputation or because of their money or because of, but what I can do for them. What I can do for them. The right attitude is about worth. We remember that they are important to God. This is a mature thought process to think everybody I meet is important to God. Is important to God. Another good or right attitude would be interest. So it'd be, I want to learn from this friendship. I want to learn from this friendship. That's a good attitude to have. Acceptance would be another good attitude, a right attitude. One that says, I want to help them reach God's potential for their life. I want to help them reach God's potential for their life. So the reason why I say we have to have things in perspective, because if you are needy, if you are a needy person and you feel like you have to have friends, then you will selfishly try to have people around you. That is not the goal. So you have to fix that neediness. Because it's not about what they can do for you, it's about what you can do for them. So you're not trying to have the wrong attitude of saying, will they accept me? That's a wrong attitude. That's a wrong attitude. You realize that you are worth so much to God and they are worth so much to God. And you approach it at that level. You don't approach it based on income and you say, well, they wear a suit. Well, they come to work every day in a certain kind of car. Or they have this particular kind of job. They ain't going to be wanting to talk to me. We view them as divine appointments. God loves them just like he loves you. Just like he loves you. Gotta keep going. So we talked about questions. Let's go over some of these questions. Just to give you an idea of where these questions would lie as far as the acquaintance and the casual and what's the third one? Close and intimate. All right, so these are general questions. This is to help us to have something in our pocket when we're meeting people. With family, this is like information that is considered public knowledge. Okay, that's what's important. Public knowledge would be something like, what time is it? That's public knowledge. Okay, so for family, you might ask questions like this. Hey, so how many brothers and sisters do you have in your family? That's a public knowledge, public information. Okay, which number child are you in the family? Okay, so for you introverts, this is really going to help you to get a couple questions just about family, to get a conversation going, to get that person talking, no matter who they are. And what type of work is your father or your mother or a sister or a brother or your wife or your husband? What kind of work do they do? Have you lived in quite a few different places? You get it? It's a general, basic, public information questions to move along these divine appointments. You might talk about school if you're in that arena. What school did you attend? What school did you graduate from? What was your major? What was your favorite subject, or what wasn't your favorite subject? Church. Hey, what church do you attend? That's easy. You know, easy public information. How long have you been connected with the church? Or does your whole family belong to that church? Your whole family go to that church? Easy public information, good questions. Here's another one, interests. What sports do you enjoy? Is this making sense? What are some of the hobbies you have? Do you play any musical instruments? You want to know who a person is. You cannot assume just because they have shoes on and clothes on that they are just okay to keep going to different levels. They should qualify to go to the next level. Okay? If they're a divine appointment and we believe that they are a divine appointment, we want to make sure we're checking things right now. You know, you say something like, "Hey, what kind of job you have?" "Oh, I don't work. I don't believe in work." You know. "Oh, you don't?" You wouldn't know that if you didn't ask. That's where you got to ask the right questions so you can get some feedback into what kind of person this is. You know, you say, hey, what kind of job did your parents have when you were growing up? That's an easy pup. And they'll be like, I didn't have parents when I grew up. I was raised by wolves. You want to know. You want to know it. So when we talk then about identifying positive qualities in a person, this can be difficult because sometimes their negative qualities stand out so strong. It's like, you know, and so we want to be able to discern really what are the positive qualities. And when we say a negative quality is staring you in the face, sometimes it's because it's overused. Their positive quality is so overused that it's a negative. Okay? We look at people like God looks at people. Okay? Okay?
Okay.
So, you might have a person that seems like they're deceptive. You know? Truthfulness versus deception. Or sincerity versus hypocrisy. Or forgiveness versus rejection. Or persuasiveness versus unreasonableness. Hospitality versus loneliness. One of the most important purposes of a friendship is to assist one another in developing Christ-like character qualities. In order to do this, you must be able to know and distinguish between specific qualities. Self-control and self-gratification. Two different things. Creativity versus underachievement. They can seem like they are so creative that they're not doing the other stuff because they're underachieving other things in big areas. But it's overuse of the creative part. Make sense? Thriftiness versus extravagance. You could think a person's stingy, and they're not. I got one. Keep going. For instance, alertness. The positive quality would be alertness. When it's misused as a negative trait, it could be jumpiness or quick criticism or presumptuous or they're very inquisitive. Really, that person is alert. But they overuse that quality and it looks like they're just always jumpy about everything. I'll give you another one so you have a better understanding. An analytical person. That's a positive quality, to be analytical. But it can be overused when we start looking at their pickiness, their fussiness, their pettiness, over attention to detail. Don't get in trouble in here. Confidence is a good quality. Everybody agree? It could be overused when the person looks conceited, cocky, and overbearing. So you don't point out, you're cocky. You realize, you know what? They are very confident. They're just overusing it. Now ain't the time to talk about it at this level, but, as we progress through it, I may be able to help them with that. Right? Here's one. Fair-mindedness. Fair-mindedness. So fair-mindedness is a good quality, but you can find it overused when they're indecisive or indiscriminate or undiscerning. Because they're like, I want to be so fair, I can't really make a decision. I'll give you one more.
Wait, what was the second thing you said?
indecisive or indiscriminate or undiscerning. Frugality. We were talking about stingy, miserly, penny pinching. You might say that a person, you're a very frugal person. You're a very frugal person. And the other voice in you might say, they are stingy. But we're not getting ready to tell them that. And we're not looking for that quality. We're looking for, even in the negative quality, there's a positive quality. They just aren't using it. They've overused it. Like neatness. A person that's neat. It could look like, in negative, perfectionism. They're over meticulous. Or they're stiffness or intolerant. When really they're just neat. They need everything neat. You go to somebody's house and everything that you touch, they put it back in the right little spot. You ever been there? You ever have somebody come to your house and they start telling you what's out of place? Like, hey, isn't that picture crooked? Which it is, but isn't that picture crooked? And they be like, hey, I wish they would just, and they go over and move the picture and straighten it out. So we made that picture crooked on purpose, just in case you felt you had the need to push it in the line. Here. When you get to the next level, this is the level where we're able to give opinions and goals. I'm gonna go a little quicker. So when we're able to design appropriate specific questions, when we're talking about the next level, then we're able to introduce ideas and opinions and goals in this level. Which level is that?
3.
I heard one say 3.
Closer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Family. So whereas we're talking about how many members in your family, at this particular level, we might say, to what do you look back as your happiest childhood memory? Yeah. Now see, for all the single women in here,
You don't know my life.
you want to know what a guy is thinking. What was your happiest childhood memory? Happiest. And you're expecting, sunshine and they give you something dark. Oh, when we went out and hunted dogs. That's your happiest childhood memory? But you want to know that. You want to know what's on somebody's mind. What you thought that was happy? You thought that was happy. So, what's your happiest? Or what do you feel is the most important factor to having a happy family or a happy marriage? What's important? That gets some good answers. Or it gets no answer. And you realize, this person really needs me in their life. Really needs me in their life. The future. You might want to talk about the future with the people that you meet that are divine appointments that are progressing to the next level. What are some of the goals you have for your life? What are some of the goals you have for your life? This is for married people, single people. I know some of you already are married and you wish you would have asked these questions before you got married. But you didn't. What to you is the most important thing in life? That's a good question about the future. What's the most important thing to you in life? You guys are about to move and you might start a church house and start just having some discussion just around the carpet and just say, hey, so what's important to you in life? and you want to hear what these answers are that people give, let you know where to place them in your life. If you could have one wish right now, what it would be? What would it be? If you could have one wish, what would it be? That's a future, a faith, because we want people to know we're Christians. You want people to know that we love God. You might say, what do you think God's purpose was in making you? Or what were the events which led up to you becoming a Christian? What do you think your spiritual gift is? These are great questions for conversation and for getting to the next level and for being able to sow yourself into someone else. Right? Okay, I'm going to keep going. Because at that level, we're trying to visualize character achievement. So we are helping overcoming the fear of failure. We're visualizing their achievement. We're visualizing vocational achievement and what they're doing, you know. I'm using y'all because y'all about to go. But Scott does what he does in physical therapy, and hopefully that's what it is called, but physical therapy. And so he said he wants to live in Tennessee, and he wants to do physical therapy, and he wants to get out of Allergy City, which is where he is currently. So immediately I started visualizing what he was saying he wanted, you know. So what is it going to take for y'all to get there? Well, I need this job to come through, right? Amen. So then I start praying, you know, God, help them to get that job and not the wrong thing. Because then you start visualizing, what is it going to take for them to get to the next thing that they want, right? Their goals. We're talking about goals at this level, right? We start talking about instilling a sense of destiny. One of the essential tasks that your parent did for you is that they gave you a sense of destiny. They said to you at some point in your life, you're either going to be something or you ain't going to be nothing. And when they say those words send you toward destiny. When they tell you, when they told you you're going to be successful, that sent you towards success. When they told you you're just a failure, you're just nothing, that sent you towards nothing. And so we have to be very careful of what we say to the relationships around us. You got to fix yourself. If somebody said to you, you're going to be a failure all your life, or you just like your daddy, or you ain't no better than your mama. Because that's stuff that folks say, and parents shouldn't say that to their children unless it's positive. Amen. Amen. But still, people say the wrong things to us. And we say the wrong things to people. Right? When somebody says, you know what, you make a good doctor, you start thinking to yourself, I don't mind blood. I could deal with that. I like people. I like to help people. I think I'll be a nurse. You know, nurse. So if I fall out, I have 2 nurses by me to cover me and wave at me. Yeah. Thanks for the vote of confidence. At these particular levels, we start designing character projects to help people with the things that they need help with to get to the next level. This isn't at the first level. We start visualizing achievement for a close friend, and we prepare the way to design projects with him or her in order to reach whatever it is that's being visualized. You know, Jill and Laura meet at least once a week, right? But that didn't start where they got together, Laura and my neighbor. For you guys that still haven't met everybody, Lord. So she lives over there, but it didn't mean she could just come over here and be like, hey, let's sit down and talk, or vice versa. That took like a few how you doings to decide whether I want to open up. Right. It took long enough to decide what are we going to open up ourselves to, get to know a person. Don't ruin my message. And how we progress from one level to the next, and to the next, and to the next. So they start talking about projects that they have going on and how each one can achieve those projects. This is friendship at a mature level, so that we can help each other get to where they need to get to in life. You want these kind of people in your life. So then what you do is you start looking at people as divine appointments, instead of, they don't have nothing to offer me, therefore they don't qualify to even be in my world. I used to be like that. Okay? That's why I wouldn't do this right here, because it wasn't worth it. Because y'all couldn't do nothing for me. Because I was interested in this over here. And unless you were able to help me with this over here, why would we need to communicate? Now, what kind of attitude is that, right?
Bad.
It is a very bad attitude. It's a very bad attitude. Selfish, and I'm sure we could think of a whole lot of other things too. But that's the thing, is that I didn't look at relationships as a divine appointment. I missed that one special thought, that God loves you just as much as he loves me. And it's not about what you can do for me, it's about what I'm able to do for you. Right? And then we start conversing, and we get a little closer, and we start feeding each other goals. And what goals do you have, and who are you, and where are you going in life? So I can help you get there, and help you discover ways to get there and to achieve it. Because if you get there, that's just as much as a success for me. It's no good if you failing and we're close. You know, I'm gonna just say this, on the political level, you know, right now there's people in America that want Trump to fail, just because they don't like Trump. If Trump fails and America fails, they would be happy, so that they could say, see, and see. I ain't that way. Please be successful so I can be successful. That's all I'm saying. That's all I got to say about that. So we start looking and designing character projects to help them, and they would do the same. So we start looking at blind spots. This is the last bit that I'll give you. We start looking at blind spots, because we have normal behavior, and then we have a lowered norm of behavior, which happens to be the blind spot. So God has a norm or a standard of behavior for each one of us in every area of our life. He has a standard of behavior. Okay? The norm of behavior is in morality, not in morality, but in. Norm of behavior, in obedience, in gratefulness, in humility. Morality, obedience, gratefulness, humility. So, the story is, one day I listened as a young couple argued. The wife was accusing her husband of flirting with other girls. He was vigorously denying it. After talking with the husband, I could see what the problem was. He had a blind spot and was not aware of it. Blind spot, not aware of it. God has a norm or a standard of behavior for each one of us in every area of our life. morality, obedience, gratefulness, humility, a norm of behavior. When the husband mentioned that I just mentioned was in high school, he greatly violated God's norm in his moral life. His blind spot, he couldn't see it because his focus was on what he used to be rather than on what he should be. His focus was on what he used to be rather than on what he should be. So violating God's norm sends him this way, which is a lowered norm of morality. This is making sense? So following his schooling, he repented of his immoral way of life and purposed to live a godly life. He looked back on what he used to be and was encouraged with his improvement. We've all been there. We're encouraged with our improvement. But this situation comes up. It's not quite as normal as it should be. So the husband seeing the husband's norm and the wife, but we need to be seeing things from what God's norm is. What's not just normal to you and me, but what's normal to God. So when we have relationships, we were looking for, and we're trying to aid and assist and everything else that we tried to do that we talked about and didn't talk about. The reason why we have to invite God into in the beginning, right, in the beginning, is because we want things to be looked at as this is the standard that God has set, not some other book, some other teaching. This is the standard that God has set. We're not saying how much did you improve, because you may have improved a lot, but it may not still be God's norm. But you've improved a lot. But it may not be what's normal to God. It's just normal to you because you have improved a lot. We want to help people get to God's normal. All right? All right.